So it wasn't just the cultures or religions of Babylon that spread into Greece and Rome and places like that with the sons of Japheth, but also the languages of Babylon with their cuneiform style of writing, and the similarities between the Phoenician and Greek alphabets go back to the Hebrew alphabet.
The letter Aleph is the first of the Hebrew letters. As you can see, it is constructed from a yud above, a yud below, and a slanted vav simultaneously connecting and separating it. We're told that Aleph, as the first letter, is a very godly letter. That is why, of all the names of God, more names begin with the letter Aleph than any other letter. Interestingly enough, the name for a human being, Adam, also begins with an Aleph. Therefore, we're told in Kabbalah and Hasidut that the letter Aleph stands for the paradox of God and man. In this picture of the Aleph, God represents the upper Yud, man represents the lower Yud, and the slanting Vav represents the Torah that is connecting us together.
The Old Hebrew alphabet, also called the Paleo-Hebrew, was adopted by the Greeks around the 12th century BC. While Hebrew is written from right to left, Greek was written from left to right. For this reason, the letters were reversed in the Greek alphabet. Here we see the first 5 letters of the Old Hebrew alphabet: the Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, and He. But when reversed, we see the ancient Greek alphabet: the Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, and Epsilon. Note that the original Hebrew names of these letters were retained for the Greek alphabet. The Aleph becomes the Alpha, the Bet becomes the Beta, the Gimel becomes the Gamma, the Dalet becomes the Delta, and the only exception is the He becomes in Greek Epsilon, which means plain E. Over the centuries, these ancient Greek letters evolved into their modern Greek forms. Our English alphabet is Roman, and because the Romans adopted the Greek alphabet, we're able to see our own modern English alphabet in these ancient Hebrew turned Greek letters: the A, B, C, D, and E. As previously mentioned, the Old Hebrew alphabet was used by all Semitic peoples, including the Arameans, also called the Chaldeans, but evolved independently from the Hebrew. By the 5th century BC, the time of the Israelites' captivity in Aramea, also called Babylon, it no longer resembled the Old Hebrew it came from, and it is this Aramaic square script that Israel adopted during their captivity. With the Aramaic square alphabet in use by the Israelites, it continued to evolve into the modern Hebrew letters that we're familiar with today. By the end of the 19th century, the translation of the Semitic alphabet was well established.
And so what is interesting about the analysis that this scholar has given us is that the original language became the Aramaic, which then became what they call Hebrew. And what they call Hebrew today is really the Yiddish language. And the Yiddish language, the Jewish language, is derived first and foremost from the Aramaic language, which is a sign that the Jews today are descendants of the Babylonians, because the Aramaic language was the language of the Babylonians. And also, we know that the ancient language of the Hebrews, the ancient Hebrew, is the basis of the Greek language, and also the Gaelic language, which the Gaels spoke from Galilee, and the Galatians were speaking Gaelic, which was the ancient Hebrew.
Let's cover some Irish language alphabet. I'm Owen from Bite Size Irish Gaelic. Is Misha Owen ó Bite Size Irish Gaelic, agus Tanyeomh Bhawailim Kaint Leat Fui Abítir na Gaeilge. So when we're talking about the Irish alphabet, actually it's not so hard, because the letters, we pronounce it the same way when we're like reciting the alphabet, except instead of A we say A. So instead of A, B, C, D, E, F, we say A, B, C, D, E, F. So that's pretty easy, right? The only exception there is that Irish has less letters, fewer letters than the English alphabet, at least the traditional alphabet. If there's imported words, you might see these letters creep in. But the letters that we don't have in Irish generally are J, K, Q, V, W, X, Y, and Z, or Z. The only other thing to know is that the vowels A, O, U, I, E, they can have a little accent mark over them. And that accent mark is called the Sheena Fada. So when you see A with the little accent mark over it, you say A Fada. That's how we say that A has the little accent mark over it. Same with U. U Fada is U with the accent mark over it. So A Fada is pronounced A in words. O Fada is pronounced O. U Fada is pronounced U. I Fada is pronounced E. And E Fada is pronounced A.
And so many words in our English language today come from the ancient Hebrew and also from the Latin and the Greek. And so all these languages came out of Mesopotamia, which is where Western civilization began.